You don't always realize you're still healing. Sometimes it doesn't look like pain anymore. It looks like control, silence, or overthinking. Healing isn't a straight line, and the past doesn't leave quietly. It hides in the little things you do every day, in the way you move through the world, in habits that seem harmless but carry stories you never finish telling. You check your phone often, even when no one is calling. You scroll through messages that no longer matter, rereading conversations as if they might change this time. It's not obsession, it's the lingering echo of wanting to be chosen. Once, you waited for a message that never came, and the waiting became muscle memory. Now your hands move out of habit, searching for validation that never truly arrives. You say, "I'm fine," too easily. The words come out before you even think. They're armor disguised as calm. You learned long ago that not everyone can hold your truth without turning away. So you built a script: short, polite, safe. You smile when you don't mean it because honesty feels like exposure, and you've been punished for that before. Healing hides in your silence. You apologize for things that don't need apologies. You bump into a chair and whisper sorry. Someone else's bad mood makes you wonder what you did wrong. Somewhere deep down, you still believe peace is your responsibility. You grew up thinking that if you were careful enough, gentle enough, small enough, you could avoid being hurt. The apology is your invisible shield. You crave solitude, but sometimes it's not peace you're seeking, it's protection. You say you like being alone, and it's true, but part of you is just tired of being misunderstood. Alone, you don't have to perform. You can exhale, but loneliness and safety are thinly separated, and some nights you can't tell which one you've chosen. You overanalyze kindness. When someone texts back quickly or remembers something you said, a quiet panic stirs inside. What do they want? You wonder. Healing teaches you to trust again, but old wounds whisper reminders. Be careful. You've known love that came with strings, affection that turned into control. So even when someone means well, you study their tone, their timing, their silence, preparing for an ending that may never come. You keep yourself busy: work, chores, errands, anything to stay moving. Stillness feels dangerous because that's when memories surface. The quiet brings back voices you thought you'd silenced. Productivity becomes your coping mechanism, your way to prove you're okay. You confuse exhaustion with healing, thinking if you just keep going, you'll finally outpace the past. But the truth is, unhealed wounds don't disappear. They wait for you in the moments you try to avoid. You struggle to ask for help. Independence became your identity, but it started as survival. You learned not to rely on others because they didn't always show up when you needed them. So now you do everything yourself, even when it's breaking you. You tell yourself it's strength, but deep down, it's fear in disguise. The fear of disappointment, the fear of needing too much. You overthink small interactions. A tone, a pause, a word out of place. Your mind replays it all like a movie. Healing doesn't erase hypervigilance overnight. When you've lived through betrayal or rejection, your brain becomes a radar for danger. You pick up signals that might not exist, trying to protect yourself from repeating the same story. You call it intuition, and sometimes it is, but often it's just old pain rehearsing itself. You find it hard to celebrate yourself. Compliments make you uncomfortable. Success feels temporary. You've carried the voice of someone who told you weren't enough, and it still echoes when you're trying to shine. Healing means rewriting that voice, but it's slow work. So you downplay your achievements, afraid that joy might invite judgment. You hide your light because you once learned that being visible made you vulnerable. But here's the quiet truth: these habits don't mean you're broken, they mean you're recovering. Healing isn't a moment, it's a lifetime of noticing. Every time you catch yourself overthinking, apologizing, isolating, you're becoming aware. And awareness is the beginning of change. The day will come when your phone sits untouched and your silence feels peaceful, not protective. When "I'm fine" becomes "I'm figuring it out." When you ask for help and realize it doesn't make you weak. When you stop waiting for old ghosts to show up in new faces. Healing doesn't look like forgetting. It looks like finally living without fear that the past will repeat itself. You're still healing, yes, but that's not a flaw. It's proof that you're still here, still trying, still believing that life after pain can be soft again. And maybe that's what true healing is: not erasing the scars, but learning to live beautifully with them.